Tonight I got two leading authorities in the real estate industry with some fantastic information. You know, these are two people who are on the front lines trying to help people face the loss of their homes. And I said, you know, we're going to talk about the American dream. You know, what is a more essential agreement? What is more essentially an element of the American dream than home ownership? And the two people I have to talk to you about now are not only going to talk about what's been happening, but more importantly, what's going on today. Millions of Americans have been devastated and decimated. It all started back in 2007. As a matter of fact, I co-owned a real estate company back in the D.C. area, and my partner at the time is one person that's going to speak to you about that tonight, because if there's anything anti-American in this country, it's that we've abandoned people here who are in need. And when you lose your house, you basically lost any hope for your personal dignity, any way to protect your family. Anything that you should be entitled to as an American has completely been compromised here. I've got two guests. One, Ronnie Barron is with us. Ronnie owns the Barron Group, Westlake Realty here in California. He's owned many different, been involved in many, he's represented his own company, and he is a short sales specialist. He's owned several companies. He's been a lender. He understands the real estate industry inside and out, and he specializes in short sales. And also with us tonight is Karen Rawlings. Karen is not only been a real estate franchise owner and was one of my former partners and a broker, but she is right now one of the top sales teams in the Washington, D.C. metro area, a leading expert in all facets of real estate, from listing houses, foreclosures, short sales. Karen has been featured on Home and Garden Television, special advisor, an authority, leading articles in the Washington Post, Forbes, and national publications, and she's going to talk to you tonight about what's going on with short sales right now. Karen, thanks for being with us. How are you doing?
You're welcome. Hi, Brad. How's the weather out here? It's 28 degrees back here.
Well, if you just take that 28 and then turn it around and make it 82, that's what we're dealing with here. So we're really suffering with the winter here.
Well, I feel sorry for you.
You know, Karen, I'm really glad you're with us tonight, and you know, one of the themes of this show is to talk about the American dream and you know, the loss of home ownership, and it's such a tragic, devastating situation. And I know you've seen it. You're out on the front lines every day, and you've seen this in all of its facets. And let me start out by asking today, you know, where are we? You know, we collapsed in 2007. It's now 2012. We're about 5 years later, and I want to ask you, where are we with the state of foreclosures and short sales, say, in the nation's capital right now? Is it better? Is it worse? Where are we? Did we lose Karen?
Yeah, you lost me.
Karen, look, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's try that again. You know, we've seen the devastation that started in 2007, and here we are 5 years later. And I want to ask you, what's going on in the nation's capital right now in terms of the current state of foreclosures and short sales? Is the situation getting any better? Is it getting any worse? Where are we headed right now?
Well, it's getting better in some respects because many of the lenders are starting to grant the short sales more quickly than they did before. The problem is that there's still a lot of people losing their homes. So it seems to be a national problem, and right here in Washington it seems to be pretty bad. And the biggest problem is that lenders are taking too long to decide what they're going to do with the short sale. And I've had one going on since 2009, which is pathetic. We found 4 buyers, and each time Bank of America can't see.
The number you've dialed for Pasadena area community.
Oddly enough, I got a call this week, and they basically said that they were going to do a streamlined short sale. So that's helpful.
Can you just give us a brief explanation of what a short sale is for those people who may not know exactly what that is?
Basically, a short sale, Brad, is that you own a piece of property, and you owe $300,000 on the property, and you put it on the market, but you can only sell it for $200,000. So you find a buyer, but then
the number you've dialed for Pasadena Area Community College is a non-working number. Please check.
Go and release. Hello?
Having a little technical difficulty here. I think we'll be right back. Can you hear us, Karen? Ronnie, is that you?
Yeah.
Nope, you have Karen now.
We got Karen and Ronnie. We got all three of you?
Hello?
Hello, Ronnie, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thanks for Ronnie. We got Ronnie Barron on the line now. As I've told everybody, Ronnie's heads up the Barron Group of Westlake Realty here in California, and he is a short sale specialist who has been out on the front lines doing wonderful things to help people who are about to lose their homes, just like Karen's been doing on the East Coast. And I'm really glad to have you, Ronnie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Karen, sorry we got cut off there. So, could you go back to tell us a little bit about what's going on in D.C. with the short sales?
Well, they're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
The banks are starting to approve them more quickly, but it's still such a process. If you're trying to buy a home, for example, it only takes 30 days to get your loan approved, get your appraisal done, and go to settlement.
Uh-huh.
If you're doing a short sale, it's taking anywhere from 4 to 6 months.
4 to 6
just
months.
to go through the process. And that's an improvement. I've got one that's been going on literally since 2009. And that's with Bank of America.
2009. Well,
2009.
Ronnie, can you tell us, and you're a short sale specialist on this side, and as a matter of fact, I know, talking to you before, that there's a program that Bank of America, I guess Bank of America is trying to get back into the game here and really help people. What's happening here in California and on this side, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that co-op program regarding Bank of America helping people with short sales.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to discuss that. But getting back to one thing where Karen was just mentioning,
Uh-huh.
that 6 months to actually do a transaction, we lose the buyers about halfway through that. We finally get our approval, and then the bank's requiring us to start all over again with the processing, which is just ridiculous. So B of A now has a product that they call the co-op, to where if you do lose your buyer, and now they've already done the appraisal, they've already know what the value is, we're actually able to, as a realtor, list the property at their suggested price. Now we already have the seller and the property valued and approved. Now we can get a buyer, and it only takes 30 days to actually finish our transaction, which is basically the same as a standard sale, which Bank of America is leading this right now. And like I said, they just started this a couple months ago, and it's the best thing the Bank of America has ever done. They're trying to help the people get rid of their house in a timely manner, and it's good for them because now the property is being held in a good condition. They're keeping the electrical on. They're keeping the water. The grass is growing, and everything looks good when we close the transaction. So they're not taking the range, the garbage disposal, the light fixtures. The property's staying intact, and the neighborhoods are staying intact, which is great. And that's what needs to be done with a lot of these other lenders, because what's happening is these properties are going to the point where the grass is growing too high, and the weeds are growing, and it's just really bad for the neighborhoods. So that's where we are in California right now.
Karen, are you seeing any of that of what Ronnie's describing back in D.C., or is it a completely different climate?
Well, everybody knows that everything starts in California and then it moves east. So we got the first phone call yesterday from Bank of America on a property that I've had listed for over 3 years. And what they said is what Ronnie just said, that it's called a streamlined short sale, which they should have done years ago. So if all of the banks follow Bank of America's lead, then I think we'll see fewer and fewer properties going to foreclosure, because that's what's going to stop this disaster, is just stop the foreclosures. And the way to do that is to do the short sales, because if you do a short sale, the houses don't deteriorate, they don't fall apart, and then they don't turn into a foreclosure. I had a foreclosure.
Ronnie, one thing.
I'm back.
Okay, you back? Karen's back.
Yeah.
She is back and better than ever. Okay, sorry about that, Karen. So anyway, you were talking about, to finish what you were talking about, the short sales.
Well, what's funny is that your phone lines must be with Verizon, because I keep getting dropped.
Big time. Well, I'm going to be talking about Verizon in a little while too. So you are absolutely right about that.
Well, what's happening is that when a property goes to foreclosure, there's a time period where once the bank takes it over or once the old owner moves out, there's a period where nobody's in charge. So the utilities are off one property that I saw a couple of days ago had a foot of water in it because the power went off, so the sump pump didn't run, so the house is ruined. So now it's worth about $90,000 instead of $230,000. So the next appraisal coming out of that neighborhood is going to hurt the whole neighborhood. So it's imperative that we get these short sales to work, which will stop the property values from falling. And then that's going to help the entire country.
We finally had the city of Thousand Oaks finally got smart. They had these foreclosures with these swimming pools, and nobody would pay the electricity bill. So they got smart, and they got fish to put in the pools to eat the algae and the mosquitoes.
Are you serious?
Yes, they go through and they put about 100 fish, little guppies, in the pool, and they don't have any mosquitoes, and they don't have the larvae, and there's no smell anymore on these pools. So thank you, City of Thousand Oaks.
That is comedy. I'm sorry. That one I would have never thought. And you're actually serious.
You know, the other thing is there's a system called the Equator. And Bank of America was the first lender to actually jump on board with this software. And basically, it's for short sales. And Wells Fargo's now on, ASC, BSI Financial Services, and National Star Mortgage is all on this program. And what it does is it actually helps us as a broker. We actually upload everything into a system, and we have control of everything, and we have somebody that we can talk to. And within 24 hours of us putting in a message to our negotiator or our specialist, we get a reply back. If not, there's a place where we can actually, when we're sending a message out, we can message 10 different people, and it's the managers all the way at the top, where used to, and I know, Karen, you probably had the same problem, you could never get a hold of anybody. And nobody was afraid of losing their job because there was no managers back then, because they just hang up on you. You had no idea who you were talking to.
Well, that's a huge
I know. Did you have that problem, Karen?
Well, yeah, we've had big problems with that. You make a phone call and you're on hold for 45 minutes, and then the call gets dropped, kind of like tonight, and then you keep calling, and then you get a new negotiator who's not familiar with the file, and then somebody gets on the phone with you and says, we closed the file, you have to start over. So you've been in process for 4 months, and then the bank closes the file and says, we're not going to deal with you, and then you have to sell the house again. So then you have a situation where you have homeowners saying, I don't want to play anymore. I'm done. I'm not giving you any more copies. I've been doing this for a year. I'm leaving the keys on the table, and I'm going. So I think we are making a lot of progress. I think it's, sadly, it's so late in the game. But, it's going to be a new day for new buyers. At least the new kids coming up are going to be able to buy houses at a much lower price than what they would have bought them 2-3 years ago. So there's always a silver lining,
right.
Not for the buyers that bought in the last 5 years, but certainly for the ones coming up.
Well, I think with the incentive now to actually, instead of a foreclosure on your record, to actually do one of two things, either a short sale or a deed in lieu. And this is what B of A has done, is they're giving these individuals a choice, and they're giving us as a broker 4 months to sell their property. If we don't sell the property in 4 months, they can do a deed in lieu of, which is actually better on their credit than a regular foreclosure. A short sale lasts on your record for 2 to 3 years. Deed in lieu access anywhere from 3 to 4. Foreclosure, anywhere up to 7 years on their credit ratings.
Let me ask you something, Ronnie, and Karen, for that matter. Is B of A's come out with this program? Are they advertising this at all? I mean, you guys know about it, but to the average person, would they have any way of knowing that this is available to them unless someone like you, and I mentioned you said that you literally go out and knock on people's door to apprise them, how you can help them and that there is this program. How are they getting the word out? Are they spending any of their bailout money or any advertising dollars to let the average American know?
I have not seen anything yet on the co-op program, which I am very surprised that they're not letting the public know a little bit more about this. Now, I'm doing it. I go through the NODs and notify the actual people by knocking on their door and saying, I represent B of A indirectly, and I can help you. And I give them the proper website to go to to where it actually is in their website, but they're